start like we do during these or post-international breaks with off-the-field news. And there didn't seem like there was too much happening, in all honesty. But in the last few days, more than anything, there's been some real stories coming up. And there probably is only one place to start, which isn't technically directly Liverpool, but there is a natural link there as well. And I know you all have clocked it. The David Ornstein bomb that landed on the 29th a couple of days ago, the FSG are looking to purchase, to add to their multi-club model, a 51% stake in Segunda Division side Malaga of Spain. I mean, being honest, David, this just came kind of out of nowhere, just literally broke. There'd been lots mooted, but this specific link and this Ornstein exclusive comes from nowhere. Is there almost the latest with this one, or when you've been digging around, what have you found out?
Yeah, not much has kind of moved on since that story. Really, it's very much a case that FSG are in and around the process. They're seeing what it would take and whether they can kind of complete a deal. So definite interest there. In terms of whether that progresses, obviously there's competition, isn't there, from QSI who own PSG. So that's a factor there. So it's not kind of a straightforward one. I think with Bordeaux it was maybe slightly different. There wasn't as much competition there, and if Liverpool had felt that the deal kind of would have suited them, they would have done it in the end. But obviously that wasn't how it turned out. But I think with this one, it's hard to say whether they will get it over the line or not, because there is that competition. There is another party involved who would quite like to buy the club. So it's just kind of one of those, really hang in and see whether it does progress.
Will be interesting to see, because you forget it's almost a year and more since Michael Ed has returned as the CEO of FSG in the football group role there. You'll have seen the way people have reacted. A lot of people have gone different things, that there'll be positives, as in we can maybe put youngsters there if we do get the club naturally for Brexit, the work permit issue, etc. Others have gone down there, well, that's all the summer budget gone, etc. Where are you standing if this does get over the line?
Yeah, well, I would say on that, around the budget, obviously I wouldn't worry too much about that. It's not going to be Liverpool's money that is used to purchase Malaga. If anything goes through, it will very much be FSG's money, and those two are not the same. So, Liverpool aren't reliant on the owners in terms of funding for transfers. So totally separate issue. So I wouldn't worry too much about that one. And yeah, I think we can, we've spoken before about the multi-club model and the clear benefits of that, as you say, with Brexit regulations, making it hard to make certain signings. It gives you a stepping stone that you can use there. Say you were to sign a Stefan Bajcetic again at the age of 16, you could sign him for Malaga, park him there for a few years. And then, if he does end up being ready for Liverpool, then you, of course, then are at the front of the queue. You can talk about the ethics of that, and I'm still personally a little bit uncomfortable with the multi-club model idea, but obviously it's the way football is going. It's definitely the way that FSG are looking to go, because, as you say, I was a big part of Michael Edwards' remit coming back in this new role. So, it's obviously something Liverpool are looking to do. But like I say, whether this is going to be the club that they end up getting, obviously we will have to see, and whether that competition edges them out in the end. But Liverpool and FSG, more generally, are clearly very keen to get this done. So if it isn't Malaga in the end, I do think they will get a second club on board soon enough.
Yeah, it does look like that process is moving ever closer. And also off the field, I never thought we'd be focusing on practically a 2 or 3 second clip with no sound at all, but Mo Salah's Instagram story. I know you'll have clocked this. For anyone that hasn't seen it, looks like it's at Trent's house. There's Ibu, there's Szoboszlai, and there's Mo, all chatting to Trent Alexander-Arnold on the sofa, and literally he seems centre stage. So you'll have seen this, conspiracy theories galore, that it means so much. Have you got any thoughts on this one, or do you think it's just one of those that's getting blown up, as things always do?
It's probably just Mo Salah on the wind-up, really, isn't it? I think he knew what kind of impact that would have by putting it out there. But, it's an interesting one, because, and certainly on Trent's side of things, and definitely Liverpool's side, people talk to at Liverpool, Liverpool haven't been informed that he's going to Real Madrid yet. That deal isn't done, so it's not completely signed. And it's not an absolutely 100% done deal, although everybody does expect now that he will go to Real Madrid. So it just makes you wonder, doesn't it? Mo putting that up, they're all having a chat with him. Is there any chance for a little bit of a U-turn there? That would certainly be interesting. But, I personally don't expect it. And as I say, I think it was just Mo Salah, just winding people up really. But, until that deal's done, maybe we never know that these lads could convince him to change his mind and stick around, because Liverpool, they're offering the contracts, they want him to stay. So the ingredients are there, but I'm not sure there's probably too much in that really.
Yeah, because ever since the exclusive drop last week about the Real Madrid, and all renowned journalists, etc., ran the stories on that. This is the only real development. It's important to say, if it even is a development, there's still nothing really new on that. I think people were more leaning towards the hope of, let's confirm it one way or the other. At least we know, we can plan ahead. But it is just still a bit of a status quo until there's an official announcement, isn't there?
Yeah, and I wonder whether, Liverpool and Trent would rather, if he is to go to Real Madrid, as I say, that's the expectation, whether they would rather just keep that quiet until the league is wrapped up. Maybe they'll see that as kind of a distraction, and they don't want to make that announcement. And if they do make the announcement, they want to make it on kind of good terms with a league title won again. So maybe that's the way they're kind of approaching it. I'm not expecting Arne Slot to sit down in his press conference tomorrow and confirm anything, to be honest. So it's one where I think we're going to be hanging on, waiting for confirmation of that. But maybe it will come, when the league's wrapped up, and that will give him a chance to say, I want to say goodbye properly, and I've got these next few games that I can hopefully appear in, and that's the way he's going to do it. I mean, whether people will take to that kindly and whether he will get a good reception, I'm not so sure, judging by what I've seen on social media, but that seems to be the way they're approaching it.
Yeah, and a fiver says that Vinny O'Connor's opening question is around this subject, no doubt, at tomorrow's press conference. I think we can bank on that one. And Real Madrid, obviously, they're not the favourite club for Liverpool fans for obvious reasons. This rumour, though, well, I know you'll have clocked this as well, that Jurgen Klopp being linked with a return to the dugout and possibly at Real Madrid. This is nonsense, isn't it? Jurgen Klopp is not coming back to club management.
Yeah, I can't see this one being true at all. He's kind of said himself that he doesn't really fancy getting back into the dugout anytime soon, or certainly not in club management anyway. And the demands that would put on him. So, and also, I mean, Real Madrid just doesn't seem like a very Jurgen Klopp club either, does it? I just don't think he'd be a cultural fit there. And, he's got this job now, isn't he, with the Red Bull Group? He seems to be happy there, and that he seems a really good fit for that. He's probably just hanging on to that Germany job comes available as well. I think there's a clause in his contract around that. So, yeah, be a big surprise. I don't expect that there's anything in this at all.
Yeah, we can almost just dismiss that one for all the rumours that are being fabricated around that. But one thing that is definite, and this came out this morning, Liverpool's pre-season tour. So before next season starts, they will head back to Asia. So it'll be Hong Kong, China, and their first ever visit to Japan as well. Summer tours that have been mixed for Liverpool. Sometimes the timing's been referenced. Sometimes it's been referenced as having an impact as well, negatively. Do you think it's positive that they've kind of got this boxed off early, like there's a plan in place and they'll start to put pre-season together for next year?
Yeah, well, I guess what will be helpful this year as well is, of course, everything that's happening with the manager. He's comfortable in the role. He can have a big hand in planning all this, because he wasn't obviously able to do that last time. It was, you come in, this is what pre-season looks like, go for it. So he will have had some influence in that. So that's always helpful. And yeah, as you say, just getting the plans in place and getting everything lined up, and so they can already start to plan for next season, because all that is going on now. It's not just what your pre-season plans, where are you staying, how are you going to do your preparation? It's, what players are you going to sign? What's the squad going to look like? All that stuff is kind of going on now. And I guess this March international break will have been massive for all of that. So, it's another kind of step forward to next season and being put in place. And it just seems mad that we're looking forward to that already, when still the league title to win, still this season to end. But they come around relentlessly, don't they? So it won't be long till we're talking about the games on this pre-season tour, I'm sure.
Yeah, it just doesn't stop at all. And maybe there is the cynicism of the fan base, who knows? But a lot of tweets, a lot of suggestions with this tour, and especially looking at it's the first ever visit to Japan. Does that affect Endo's future at all? Liverpool won't be wanting to sell a Japanese captain just before they go there.
I'm not sure that the football department will be run by the commercial side of things in that sense. I don't think they get to make decisions around that. I still think that there are big doubts over Endo's future coming into this summer, because there is interest in him and he hasn't played much this season and probably wants to. So I wouldn't be hugely shocked if he wasn't part of that travelling squad. But of course, moves do get delayed anyway. Moves come later in the summer. So there is every chance he is still around, but equally, I still think, like I say, that there are big question marks over his future, and I could easily see him leaving this summer, to be honest, regardless of the fact that Liverpool are going to Japan.